Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of NovelNoms.
From classics to children's books, you never know what she's gonna cook when Gretchen makes NovelNoms.
This week, I got 25 pounds of Roma tomatoes. Now that's a lot, but I got it through that bountiful baskets that I've told you guys about. It worked out to like 50 cents a pound for these beautiful Roma tomatoes. And so what I'm gonna do, because I use tomatoes a lot, and even cans, they're pretty expensive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sweat some onions in my pot and cook them up with some garlic, and I'm gonna cut up all these tomatoes, and then I'm gonna put them in bags and freeze them so that I have fresh tomatoes ready to make sauces or whatever other dishes I want. So I just wanna show you how I do that so that you guys can maybe find some ways to save money for your household and have yummy food all year round. So I'm just gonna put some olive oil in the bottom of a giant pot. I may have to do this in batches of tomatoes because I don't know that they're all gonna fit in here. So it's gonna get some olive oil going. Once that gets hot enough, I'm gonna throw in all these chopped onions. It's probably about 4 or 5 good sized onions. I just wanna cook them so that they're not brown, but you sweat them as you call it. Meaning you're bringing a lot of the liquids out of it, and that will add the flavor to the rest of what we're gonna put in there. I'm also going to add in, this is about maybe 2.5 heads of garlic. That's a lot of garlic cloves. I like a lot of garlic flavors. Up to you. I just took them out of their little wrappings and chopped them up. If you want to use garlic powder, that's completely up to you. Get that going with my onions. It's going to start smelling ridiculously good in here. I don't have any fresh basil right now, but I always have basil on hand. So I'm going to put like 2 nice sized handfuls of basil. Now when you add something like that or add another seasoning, because the onions and the garlic and the tomatoes could be used for so many different ethnicities of food, the basil is probably more predisposed to Italian, though you could use it for a lot of different things. Just be smart. If you don't know that that's what you're going to do with it, then just use the garlic and the onions. Will be plenty of flavor, and then you could add stuff to it when you actually cook whatever dish you're going to cook with it. It's such an economical thing, and a lot of people think, well, there's no way I could use 25 pounds of tomatoes. Well, it's just me and my husband, and it's not like, we go through that many tomatoes that I could just have those on hand. So freezing it is a great option. All right, I'll start doing tomatoes. Okay, so I've got a crap load of tomatoes in this giant pot, and I added some balsamic vinegar, probably about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, depending on how much you like that flavor. I added a few tablespoons of salt, a few tablespoons of pepper, and now I just have this giant pot of tomatoes that I'm just going to stew on the stovetop. I want to bring them up to a boil and then turn them down. You could use red wine if you wanted to use red wine instead of the vinegar. That would be delicious. And I'm just going to stew these tomatoes until all those tomatoes don't look fresh anymore. They look broken down. It's going to thicken my sauce. And then all I'm going to do is freeze it, and it's going to be delicious. So I'll see you back when this is ready to go, and we'll put it in the bags, and we'll put it in the freezer. Okay, my tomatoes have been stewing for a while. I actually had to dump them into a second pan. Can't both going at the same time because they're starting to boil over. But if you can see, the tomatoes have started to break down. They're kind of all getting a little bit more concentrated, more flavor. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, I have these bags, and these you can use in a sealer. If you don't have a sealer, you could just use freezer bags. But obviously the vacuum sealer is going to make them last longer. If you are into canning or jarring, you could use jars. I'm just going to put some of this sauce in each bag. You want to make sure if you're using a vacuum sealer that you leave some space for some headroom for the air to come out. Maybe one more scoop there. Now, I'm not going to seal this. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to set all of these bags up in the freezer like this, still open. because my vacuum sealer is actually going to suck out the air. It'll suck out the juice with it. So I'm just going to line these up in my freezer and freeze them and then seal them, and you're done. That's the beautiful thing. I hope that you guys get some ideas and maybe some ways that you could save money and make this beautiful whole food deliciousness that you could have ready all the time. Because a lot of people say, I just don't have the time to cook. Yeah, you do. Take a day, chop up some tomatoes, put them in a pot, cook them up, and you have them for the rest of the week. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you soon on NovelNoms.
From classics to children's books, you never know what she's gonna cook when Gretchen makes novel moms.